Hi, I'm Charlie Sauer, president of the Market Institute Foundation and editor of U.S. Policy. This week, I want to talk about antitrust legislation again, because next week, the Democrats, along with a few Republicans, are actually planning on going to war against U.S. businesses. Their goal? Well, from the policy proposals, it looks like total authoritarian domination of large internet companies. And the likely result, if these bills are going to pass, is basically what you would guess. An Amazon that looks more like Craigslist and a permanent market advantage by the same social media giants they are attacking. The thing is, the internet has dramatically changed the way that business is conducted around the world. For many, this change has meant access to higher quality goods at lower prices. And for businesses, this has meant the opening of markets that might have taken decades to open if it would have ever even been possible. And for politicians scared of change, this has meant a fresh round of businesses to be fearful of and antagonistic towards. Look, change can be scary, but we don't have lamplighters anymore. Heck, we don't even carry around cassette tapes anymore. That means that those people are out of businesses. Changes like this mean that people lose jobs. Changes like this can also mean that where one company was dominant in the past, a new company will rise to take their position and new jobs will be created. This isn't just about retail, though. The internet has also brought on social communication, a social aspect to our lives that can be hard to grasp. Social media companies have not only changed the way that we communicate with each other, but in some cases have even been considered the drivers of social and political change. Without social media, many of the recent uprisings around the world would have been nearly impossible to organize and manage. And if we agree with the change that these uprisings are pushing, it can be exciting. But understandably, sometimes these changes can be intimidating or scary when they're aimed towards our own culture and government. The solution to this isn't fear, though. It isn't censorship. It isn't more government that's needed. The change that's needed is about making sure that competitors have a chance. That when a company like MySpace dominates a market, that a company like Facebook can emerge and do it better. More regulation doesn't make that easier. It makes that competition harder. The internet has reduced startup cost. The next Amazon competitor already has a proof of concept in Amazon. That's going to make it easier for the next one to find investors than it was for Bezos when starting Amazon. The next Facebook might have already been programmed and might be gaining traction now. For instance, in response to the accused bias against conservatives, several platforms have already sprung up claiming to allow more open communication. However, if more regulations are passed, the ease of starting up goes away. In fact, one of Parler's main issues was the ability to keep up with existing regulations, not with Amazon, not with Facebook, but with California. And as regulations increase, the odds of competing with market incumbents start slipping away. The bills to be introduced next week all take on different aspects of the political push for authoritarian control of the internet. They look at data, they look at mergers and acquisitions, and they look at platform fairness. As defined by who? Them. Their version of fair. That's not what we want. And while it looks like this group of anti-business politicians is only currently attacking 4 businesses, as discussed, the ramifications of any of these bills will have a wide-ranging impact on our economy. All of this and nothing, not even a whimper, about solving political bias concerns. And to be clear, I think it's pretty unlikely that any of these companies are intentionally politically biased. Any small amount of research would show them that about half of their user base leans one way and half lean the other way. So any bias by them would mean possibly alienating half of their users. And the companies in question, they spend millions of dollars a year on market research. However, with some of the most outspoken Republicans driving the messages that social media companies should come under fire for censoring voices of the right, it is conspicuous that none of the bills to be introduced focus on this issue. And it just proves that this isn't really about political bias. This push for antitrust legislation, these bills are about control. They are about fear. They're driven by ignorance instead of philosophy, ideology, or even a long-run economic plan. We don't have to like Amazon. We don't have to like Google, and we don't have to like Facebook or Twitter, but regulating them doesn't mean that they will go away. What the U.S. needs is a strong economy. A strong economy will help us create more businesses. A strong economy will lead to more competition, and more competition will lead to more value for buyers in the U.S. and beyond. We need the government out of the way. We need to stop acting in fear and instead act in the way that a U.S. citizen should. Competition, innovation, creation of something new. If you want to hear more about different bills, antitrust bills, economic bills, healthcare bills, please hit that like and subscribe button and come back to see us more often. Thank you.